Welcome everyone to the 6th Annual Champions of Healthcare Recognition event. I'm Chris Vass, Public Editor of the Times Free Press. I cannot imagine a more appropriate time to show our appreciation to the healthcare heroes among us. No element of our community or our lives has gone untouched by the coronavirus pandemic, and these folks are our front lines in this fight. We're sorry we can't all be together to applaud these folks, but we've got our fingers crossed for a big Champions of Healthcare party in 2021. In the meantime, thanks for joining us online.
We're here.
You're doing great. I'm right here.
There's Jack. I'm right here.
You're doing great.
We're here.
Being here matters now more than ever. As a Tennessee not-for-profit with a mission to serve, we've made a promise to be right here for you today and tomorrow.
If you need anything else, we'll be right here.
During these trying times, First Horizon wants to express appreciation for the local heroes in our medical community. We are forever grateful for your endless commitment day in and day out. Thank you and congratulations to these champions of healthcare.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. J.B. Sobel, Vice President and Chief Medical Officer for the Senior Care Division at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee. I'm pleased to welcome you to this year's Champions of Healthcare celebration. As a partner in the healthcare journeys of so many people in the greater Chattanooga area, Blue Cross is honored to sponsor this event. We welcome the chance to once again help recognize the outstanding contributions made by members of our local medical community. At Blue Cross, our mission is peace of mind through better health. And we know it is only possible with the support of those who deliver care directly to our members and neighbors across Tennessee. The healthcare field is full of unique challenges, especially in our current time. And we've appreciated the flexibility of our provider partners who've embraced serving patients using telehealth technology. We also appreciate the providers who understand how many of our neighbors still face health disparities and are helping make sure every member of our community has the opportunity to reach their health potential. In light of all that is going on around us, and with so many in the medical field on the front lines, it is a special privilege to celebrate some of the healthcare professionals who have contributed so profoundly to our community's well-being. We appreciate you all for being here today in support of these extraordinary honorees.
For nearly 40 years, North American Credit Services has served healthcare facilities across the U.S.
We are proud to support and honor our local 2020 Champions of Healthcare.
During these challenging times, your service is unprecedented and heroic.
Congratulations to each of our new Champions of Healthcare.
For the last 40 years, you've trusted us as your local not-for-profit hospice with the people you love at life's most important moments.
Always.
Every year, the Times Free Press and Edge magazine, together with our sponsors, recognize the extraordinary service of local healthcare professionals. If you love a great story, there are a few topics as compelling as the human side of healthcare. Today, we're honoring individuals in 9 categories for their contributions to the health and well-being of their neighbors. And this year, we've added a couple of extra categories to call out the vast collective efforts across the community in response to the COVID-19 threat. We begin with recognizing an extraordinary healthcare volunteer who, after decades of executive management with Provident Life Insurance Company and then Cigna, became active on the CHI Memorial Foundation Board of Directors in the early 2000s. Jim Pesnell served on the hospital's main board of directors, including a stint as chairman, helping the hospital navigate almost 20 years of growth. He helped guide and advise on significant internal and external changes that have positioned Memorial for a solid future. His gift of leadership and stewardship and deep devotion to Memorial is widely commended. Jim Pesnell is our 2020 Champion of Healthcare in the volunteer category.
It's an honor to be a recipient of the Champions of Healthcare for 2020. It really is, and thanks to everyone who made this possible. I think a lot of people had their hands in this, and it's an honor for me to be a part of this. It really is. But I know over the 16 years that I've been working with the foundation, it's been a blessing to me just to be a part of the organization. And before the COVID virus, I would be over here, and as I mentioned earlier, I would always observe the employees, their passion in caring for our patients. And they've done that in spades. And I was aware of it, I said, as I was a patient, and my wife's been a patient here, so we've got a long history with this hospital, and it's always been a winner. Always been a winner. And you know, Mark, people will sometimes won't remember what you said, but they'll remember how they made you feel. And that's the true spirit of this hospital over here, of our people, making you feel well. Sure. And staying with you in difficult times and sharing and praying with you. I know I've had surgery here, and every doctor that I've ever been associated with that's worked on me has always said a prayer before our surgery. And that's unique in my opinion. Yes. And I've had other people tell me the same thing. And when this ministry expanded into North Georgia and what we're doing in Southeast Tennessee, it's been a real blessing to me to see that work and to see it happen, and see it develop, and see it move forward, and see the tradition that's going to be happening in years to come. And with the people that we have here, and the staff and the team that we have, it's going to be a true winner.
Next up is recognition of innovation by an organization, and this year, for the first time, we are talking about a local prep school. Baylor School faculty members Dawn Richards and Elizabeth Forrester, well equipped with PhD credentials, a ton of energy to help our community, and a state-of-the-art lab on campus, stepped up in a phenomenal way to meet the desperate need for fast, local COVID-19 testing. What happened at the Baylor School set an exceptional precedent for public-private partnership and garnered well-deserved national attention as the coronavirus pandemic spread. The Baylor Esoteric and Molecular Laboratory, which continues to process hundreds of COVID tests a day, is our 2020 Champion of Healthcare for Innovation by an organization.
It's overwhelming. I mean, it's really emotional. We've put in a lot of hours, and you know, and still are. And so I think, you know, we're still in the thick of it, thinking that, you know, when we started this in March, I thought we were thinking it was going to be a couple months, you know, and the fact that we're still doing it and are going to continue, you know, helping our community in whatever way is really, again, it's overwhelming and it's emotional. Knowing that, you know, we started this knowing that we just wanted to help our community, and the fact that it seems like we've had that impact is, it's really great.
Yeah, and it's humbling because we just walk in the door and go to work. And we solve problems and we answer questions and just get that data out. And so we don't have a chance much to think about how it is actually impacting our community in terms of what a healthcare professional might think.
But we've gotten some great feedback along the way. I mean, not that it's gone totally unnoticed. We've gotten, you know, individual physicians, you know, in the letter from Phoenix Air, and people have been really great about just kind of cheering us on. I think because they see the hours that we've put in. They know that we're here 7 days a week, that we've gone month stretches, months without days off. And so I think they've just been trying to cheer us on, and so it's just been a lot.
Yeah, so, you know, Baylor's, the executive team on Baylor's board has been really supportive and has facilitated this. You know, Elizabeth approached some members of our administration with the idea that we do this so that we could test Baylor. Before we knew schools were going to shut down, before we knew everything was going to escalate to this level. And it did not take long for them to circle the wagons and facilitate us getting through things like the certifications necessary for a lab like this to operate. Without them, you know, really helping that along, and then helping us get connections with people like Rick Carroll, who is the CLIA director for the state of Tennessee, and we had many partners who helped us along the way, who just said, call me if you need something, just call. Dallas Joseph, who is the Baylor School CFO, has worked tirelessly to get us what we need, and there are so many other people
really, I mean, for a while it was just like, okay, what do we need to do next? We know that we have the testing protocol up and running, and from there it was like, okay, now what do we need to do so that we can actually, you know, start helping people in our community? And you know, it was like one roadblock, another roadblock, and anytime there was a roadblock, it seemed like there was someone there helping us cross that hurdle. So the CLIA licensure, Rick Carroll was our first like kind of push over, but then there's so many people within the Tennessee, you know, State Health Department, Department of Health, that was really championing us, and because they wanted this for Hamilton County, they wanted this for the community, they wanted there to be more access to testing, and so I think it was the collective will of many people that kind of put us in this position.
In the category of innovation in healthcare by an individual, this year's honoree took aim at the leading cause of cancer or death in the volunteer state. Dr. Rob Hedrick, Chief of Thoracic Surgery at CHI Memorial Chest and Lung Cancer Center, pioneered the Breathe Easy bus, outfitted with a portable CT scanner to take lung cancer screening out to rural communities where residents have limited access to health care. Early detection is the key to successful treatment of lung cancer, and Dr. Hedrick is making it happen. For his creative solution to a serious cancer that doesn't have to cut short the lives of Tennesseans, Dr. Hedrick is this year's recipient of the Champion of Healthcare for Innovation by an Individual Award.
All right, so it's certainly an honor, and I'm very humbled to receive this award, much less the recognition for it. When I think back starting my early days in Harrison, Tennessee, playing on the lake and in the mud and not knowing where life was going to take me, all the way through multiple years of education at my parents' expense. I'm very grateful for them in the process. To end up at the Mayo Clinic only to come back home and see and be able to think of a solution for a problem that's plaguing our community that I'm also passionate about. And this crazy journey I've been on has given me the thought process and the ability to try to come up with a solution. I'm certainly grateful for my wife and her family. Some of the idea behind getting back to the doctor going to the patient, taking the technology to the patient, came out of the Mississippi coffee shops where we would sit there and hold office for 3 or 4 hours just talking to patients on their terms about their healthcare issues. Really realizing that people don't want to die. We've just made healthcare too difficult and sometimes too complicated for them to understand what to really do. I have to be grateful for Memorial for allowing me the time and the opportunity to go down a pathway and a journey that seemed pretty crazy when I started out. And to all of our partners in the Siemens and others who have taken a leap of faith with other engineers to come up with an opportunity to test an idea, validate it, and maybe make it a real solution for not just Chattanooga, but for our whole state, as well as the southeastern part of the country. I'm excited to receive this honor. Certainly there's way more people who have been a part of this that deserve recognition for it too, but I'm very humbled and grateful and very appreciative for the honor.
Healthcare systems can't work without talented administrators running the back office. For every patient interaction, there are dozens of decisions and processes that go into building the foundation of that experience. In the category of administrative excellence, our honoree has dedicated his career to taking care of the people who take care of the patients. Brad Pope leads Human Resources for the Southeast Division of Common Spirit Health, a role that means he looks out for 16,000 employees in 16 hospitals in 6 states. His expertise has lifted Memorial into a leadership position in employee engagement. Brad Pope is our 2020 Champion of Healthcare for Administrative Excellence.
I appreciate the committee for this selection. I can name quite a number of people that are much more deserving of this than myself. But I'm humbled and I'm truly appreciative of the honor. There are so many people I have to thank for my career and where I've gotten to this point. I wish I had time to name them all. People like Harry Tate, who was the person that gave me my first full-time job in HR many years ago at the Chattanooga Housing Authority. Bob Main, who was the long-term CEO and president at Siskin Hospital, who hired me at Siskin and gave me the leadership example healthcare and mentored me both locally and got me involved in the state organizations, and so I appreciate him. To CEOs I've worked with and have been great leaders at Memorial, from Ruth Brinkley, Jim Hobson, Janelle Riley, other leaders that have influenced me and mentored me like Carol Newton, and I could go on and on with names that have influenced me. Present day, Larry Schumacher has been just a wonderful, inspirational leader for me for Catholic healthcare. He's got many years of experience in Catholic healthcare. Also, his example as a husband and a father. So I really appreciate his support. Definitely over the last year. We have one of the strongest volunteer programs within healthcare, in my opinion, in large part due to Jean Payne, who's been a great example of positivity in my career. I appreciate her and all the volunteers for their work and their dedication. And again, so many other people that I can mention. Lisa Whaley, who hired me at Memorial, and the leadership that she instilled in me. And then the employees. I'd love to name a lot of the employees that energize me every day, that I talk to or run into around the hospital. And I appreciate the employees. I'm thankful for them. But you know, most importantly, I think for me, is my family. My father. My father instilled a strong work ethic and a sense of compassion for others in my brother and me. I've never seen him waver from that, ever. No matter the ups and downs or whatever in his career, in his life, he has always had a strong work ethic and a compassion and caring for others. And I'm just very thankful to him for that. And I appreciate my brother, who has he's older than me. I always like to remind him of that, but he's been a great mentor, but a great friend to me, one of my best friend. Don't tell him I said that, because I don't want to, I'll never hear the end of it. My wife. I just absolutely adore and love my wife. She means the world to me, and I just can't put it into words. The support, the love, and just the help that she's been for me through our marriage. We celebrated our 25th anniversary last year.
People who have recovered from COVID-19 carry a potentially powerful weapon against the disease in their veins, and Blood Assurance moved fast to tap that resource in the early days of the pandemic. Plasma from recovered patients has antibodies to coronavirus that can help people fight off the disease. A convalescent plasma program was set up in 24 hours and launched on a Sunday. Blood Assurance was shipping plasma within 3 weeks of the first local COVID-19 case. Blood Assurance, represented by Medical Director Dr. Liz Culler, is our 2020 Champion of Healthcare for Community Outreach.
Well, I've been here for 14 years, and I think this is probably the greatest honor that we've received since I've been here. So I feel so great that someone nominated for us and we were picked for this great honor. Well, definitely this was a community effort. We developed the program here at Blood Assurance, but without donors, there is no program. So I want to thank all of our area hospitals, in particular Memorial, who sent us our very first 3 donors. They recruited the first 3 donors. They actually did the nasopharyngeal swabs on those donors on a Saturday, and they sent it to a lab, the Baylor lab, who was able to turn around the test results. And they were tested on a Saturday, and we had the results by Monday, which was a huge, it was a huge difference from what the rest of the country were seeing. The turnaround time in the rest of the country was about 7 days. And that made a huge difference because that meant we were able to go ahead and collect the units early the next week and go ahead and ship them out the very next day.
This has been a challenging time for our community on nearly every front, and powerful partnerships have formed across the private, public, and nonprofit sectors to support our most vulnerable neighbors. COVID-19 disproportionately affects people already struggling with health disparities and economic disadvantages. From outreach to the homeless, to culturally competent services for the Latino community, to targeted partnerships with Black churches, groups across our community have made it their mission to reach those in need. This year, we're giving special recognition to the people who serve our most vulnerable. Any physician will tell you the quality of the team they work with makes all the difference between practice and perfect. Betsy Chase, the Director of Infection Prevention at Park Ridge Health System, has a role that touches every aspect of the hospital and the health and safety of every patient and employee. In her role, which has a laser focus on details, process, procedure, and analysis of reams of data, Betsy helps set the standard for COVID patient management. Infection prevention has always been a crucial element of hospital environments, but this behind-the-scenes specialty has never been more important than in the time of COVID-19. Please congratulate Betsy Chase as our 2020 Healthcare Champion in the non-physician practitioner category.
So the mission of HCA is the care and improvement of human life. So I take value in being a part of that, and we're part of a great team of quality department, and I have a great team of infection prevention, and together we do surveillance, and we make sure that the rules and regulations are being followed by our colleagues. We also do, active participation in patient care in regards to ensuring that everything that is considered a best practice is being done on the patients to prevent them from getting an infection. We are an infection preventionist, so by that we want to prevent an infection. So we take great pride in being able to do that. We have come a really long way since in the last 5 years, and we've done a great job with preventing harm, as they say. So preventing those infections from the patients. So it's an honor to win the award in regards to that. I've been recognized for my really hard work. It is a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of dedication to both Park Ridge and TriStar and to HCA as an enterprise. I take a lot of pride in being part of HCA. It's a great organization, and I feel honored that they recognized me for that. And particularly with COVID, we've done a lot of work with that here lately, and it's a lot of hard work, but we're not out there taking care of those patients, but we want to make sure that the people that are actively participating in the care of those patients have everything they need, and that we can get everything that they need, and that it's a smooth process, and that we can make things as easy on them as possible.
Our next champion is a native of Kentucky, and that blue blood runs deep in her Wildcat veins today. A one-time aspiring camp operator and symphony conductor, Dr. Susan Mcguire heeded her mom's advice and chose another career path, and thousands of families in our region are better for it. She has dedicated 40 years to improving the mental health care for children and adolescents. In her role as medical director of Park Ridge Valley Hospital Child and Adolescent Campus since 1996, Dr. Mcguire has pioneered treatment programs and approaches to young people in some of the most challenging circumstances imaginable. A colleague summed her up best: tough exterior, soft heart, unwavering. Dr. Susan Mcguire is the 2020 Champion of Healthcare in the Community Physician category.
Well, it certainly was a surprise for me in terms of that, to be nominated, let alone receive sort of this award in terms of that. I was just excited in terms of to be able to sort of see you again after all these years, and basically be able to kind of thank folks in terms of looking at. I first and foremost wanted to thank the News Free Press for championing this award and going through and those people who did the nomination for me in terms of that and whatever effort that took, and as well as the judging committee, so to speak, in terms of that. So I want to thank them. But also I want to thank my parents in terms of that. My mom has had a significant event in May and had Memorial Day, and certainly it's not probably in a wet place to be able to know what's going on now, but I certainly know that she basically has been a strong support for basically my willpower and work ethic in terms of that over the years. And both my parents have been very responsible for promoting an environment in a family that you can do anything that you put your mind to do. With strong work and a work ethic, you can do it. And lastly, I want to thank those people that have worked with me all these years, because I have a strong, supportive staff, and this work is not about an individual. It really is about the multidisciplinary team that you can gather together, and people can work together and dedicate themselves to a mission of taking care of the lives of children, adolescents, and their families. And at this point in time in my career, I'm very, very, very thankful and very, very dedicated to the number of staff that have stayed with me greater than sometimes up to 30 years and working towards accomplishing this mission. And then without those staff, in terms of that, and those individuals, I would not have been able to be successful in what we have tried to do, which is develop services for children, for adolescents, their families, and for folks in the greater Chattanooga area. And so with that, I thank everyone involved, but they all deserve this award as well.
Before moving to Chattanooga in 2011 to work at the University of Tennessee College of Medicine, James Haynes served around the world in the Air Force, including stints in Iraq and Afghanistan as a doctor and educator. Now chairman of the Department of Family Medicine at the UT College of Medicine, Dr. Haynes splits his time between education administration and seeing patients at his office. Dual roles he sees as vital to teaching our physicians of tomorrow what it takes to be successful in a challenging industry. And as president of the Chattanooga-Hamilton County Medical Society, Dr. Haynes also has helped lead collaboration among community stakeholders and healthcare partners as this region continues to confront the COVID-19 pandemic. Our 2020 Champion of Healthcare in the academic physician category is Dr. James Haynes.
Extremely humbled to be considered for this award and outright astonished to be selected for such a prestigious honor in our community. I'm also grateful to the Chattanooga Times Free Press and other sponsors of these awards for recognizing the work of citizens in healthcare arenas. First and foremost, I thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. In my own strength I am impotent, and in His strength I can do all things within His will. I want to thank my wife Barbara. She has been an unwavering friend, encourager, motivator, and colleague to me for the last 35 years. I'm convinced that without her I would have never become a physician. My 4 children, Emily, Elise, David, and Lindsay, continue to encourage and challenge me each day to be a better husband, father, and citizen by witnessing how they care for others around them. I would also like to thank Dr. Bob Zalstra and Mr. Rich Gervasi and my faculty colleagues for taking the time and effort to nominate me for this award. Without these folks, my efforts would be far less impactful, if existent at all. I would be remiss if I did not mention the staff at UT Family Practice, the University of Tennessee College of Medicine, Chattanooga, Erlanger Health System, Clinica Medicos, and the Chattanooga-Hamilton County Medical Society. These teams of people continue to motivate me to look beyond the doors of my workplace to the greater community and emulate how to love people more deeply each day. They emulate self-discipline in pursuing higher standards and ethical pursuits to improve the lives of others. Additionally, I work with the greatest team of family medicine educators that one could imagine. Each of them demonstrates integrity, diligence, compassion, and selflessness as we heal, comfort, study, educate, and administer together. I would also like to thank one of the other champions awarded this year, Mrs. Ray Bond, for her tireless efforts to improve the health of our community and its caregivers for the last 20 plus years. Finally, I'm eternally grateful to my mentors who helped me learn the practice, art, and business of family medicine. In particular, Dr. J. Mac Worthington, who offered me a job in this wonderful community and taught me that if you keep patients and learners at the forefront of your vision, all the details of excellent healthcare execution will come into place. In the midst of the difficulties we face as a community and nation, let's improvise, adapt, and overcome to make our community a place where everyone has a seat at the table and is loved for their intrinsic value as one of God's children. Thank you very much.
Our next recognition is for Lifetime Achievement. Here to introduce our winner is Dr. J.B. Sobel, Vice President and Chief Medical Officer for Senior Products from Champions of Healthcare sponsor Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee.
If you're with us today applauding the commitment and compassion of our healthcare colleagues, the odds are that you know the winner of the 2020 Champion of Healthcare Lifetime Achievement Award. Ray Bond has been involved everywhere healthcare happens for decades, Currently the CEO and Executive Director of the Chattanooga-Hamilton County Medical Society and Foundation, for the past 20 years, Ray Bond's name is synonymous with equal quality health care for all. She tirelessly works to provide health care access for the low-income, uninsured population through a program she co-founded, Project Access. Ray has led the Hamilton County Regional Health Council for 5 years, which is responsible for regional health planning and funding for health-related initiatives. And she organized the Health Disparities Task Force. As the COVID-19 pandemic emerged in 2020, she was chosen to lead the Mayor's Joint Task Force to help coordinate our community's response to the outbreak. We are all extremely fortunate to have her leadership and commitment in our community. Please join me in congratulating Ray Bond as this year's Lifetime Achievement Award winner.
I'm deeply honored by this recognition, and I need to begin by thanking my husband and my great staff because they support me in every possible way. And I also need to thank the wonderful doctors at the Medical Society and the Medical Foundation who've provided platforms through which I've been able to have some impact on the health of our community. It really is a privilege to work alongside the physicians and the hospitals, hospital leaders who've come together to create Project Access and LifeBridge and our Youth Leadership Forum and other community kind of health initiatives that I've been able to play a part within. And it was a privilege to be chosen by community leaders to found First Things First, to strengthen families. I've really had a lot of wonderful opportunities, and I'm deeply grateful for each of those. You know, today our community is faced with an unprecedented and unanticipated challenge with COVID-19. But once again, our community leaders are coming together to collaborate, to develop our best strategies to lead us forward through a pandemic. And there aren't any easy answers, but I've got confidence in our community's ability to move together through this. And it's a privilege to play even a small role in that effort. I have the greatest respect for my friends and my colleagues who've dedicated their lives to be healers. They do things that I can't possibly do. And I hope there are a few things I've learned that I can help them with that might not be their skill sets. So in truth, I want to humbly accept this honor on behalf of each of them, my friends, my colleagues, my partners. So thanks.
Our final category is a salute to some of the physicians who have been on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic, treating patients, learning more about this disease on a nearly hour-by-hour basis, and sharing information with their colleagues and their community. They have served as teachers, leaders, sounding boards, and sources of reassurance during a daunting and dangerous time. These are some of the 2020 frontline champions of healthcare.
As we come to the end of today's event, I want to congratulate all of this year's winners once more. Your efforts have truly made a difference in the lives of so many people, and we are grateful for the chance to recognize your work. Medicine is a calling that has rarely been more challenging and rewarding than it is right now. Your stories remind us of the power one person can have and the unique power that comes from working together with others towards a common goal, sometimes against extraordinary odds. Each one of you serve as an inspiration in this era where we are wrestling against a pandemic and against our society's legacy of inequality. Even though this celebration looks a bit different from the ones in years past, it has still been a pleasure to come together virtually and celebrate each of you and your exceptional achievements today. I also want to thank all of our attendees for taking the time to join us today. We hope you and your loved ones stay safe and healthy. Have a great afternoon.
During these trying times, First Horizon wants to express appreciation for the local heroes in our medical community. We are forever grateful for your endless commitment day in and day out. Thank you and congratulations to these champions of healthcare.
For nearly 40 years, North American Credit Services has served healthcare facilities across the U.S.
We are proud to support and honor our local 2020 Champions of Healthcare.
During these challenging times, your service is unprecedented and heroic.
Congratulations to each of our new Champions of Healthcare.
For the last 40 years, you've trusted us as your local not-for-profit hospice with the people you love at life's most important moments.
Always.
Thank you again for joining us in recognizing the extraordinary work of the Chattanooga healthcare community, this year above all others. Thanks also to the sponsors who make it possible for us to recognize the truly valuable work our healthcare community provides. While we had to make some concessions to this moment and honor these professionals in a virtual format in 2020, we all look forward to being together again next year. Have a great rest of your day, stay well, and stay safe.